She's mean, she's green, and she's the most adorable little bean. She's Froppy. Hello and welcome to... God, that joke was terrible. Hello and welcome to Quirk Analysis 101, the series where I give you a detailed rundown on the quirks in the world of My Hero Academia. In the last video, I discussed a quirk that belongs to My Hero Academia's manliest hard boy, Hardening. In today's video, I'll be discussing the quirk that belongs to the hippest and hoppest frog girl in the entire My Hero world, Tsuyu Asui. But before I begin, I'm going to give you a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button and bell icon to keep up to date with all of the new, amazing content the Lunchtime crew is producing. Now, without further ado, let's all hop on the frog train with the totally adorable Froppy and her riveting quirk, Frog. Frog is a mutant type quirk which first appeared in chapter 6 of the My Hero manga and episode 5 of the anime. This quirk grants its user frog-like characteristics, which includes but is not limited to frog-like anatomy, increased leg strength, wall clinging, an extended tongue, enhanced swimming abilities, and a form of camouflage. Essentially, she can do whatever a frog can do. Imagine Spider-Man, except instead of being bitten by a radioactive spider, he was bit by a radioactive frog. Now there are a lot of different species of frogs in the world, and I mean a lot. As in 6,300 different species a lot. And with each species comes different traits. However, instead of granting the characteristics of just one species, Frog seemingly grants its user all abilities related to frogs, regardless of breed. This opens up Tsuyu's arsenal, making her both good up close and at a distance. But it also poses an important question that I'm sure is on all of our minds. Can Froppy change gender like the frogs in Jurassic Park? I mean, Froppy was initially intended to be a boy when Horikoshi first came up with the character's concept. Would she grow a pee-pee? Will life find a way? I need to know! I need to know! Now on to abilities. As I've said, Froppy can do whatever a frog can do. But what can a frog do? Well, for starters, the frog quirk grants its user an extremely long and durable tongue, which can be used to grasp onto objects and people, as seen when Froppy grabs Midori and Mineta at the USJ. The strength of her tongue has also been increased dramatically, as we see Froppy easily carry the weight of an entire person while leaping through the air. Speaking of leaping, Frog also gives the user enhanced leg strength, allowing them to leap high and long distances. In addition to this, the user can also easily grip onto a variety of surfaces, such as tightropes and walls. As you can see, Frog offers its user a lot of versatility and movement options when it comes to mobility. But the quirk Frog is actually more versatile when in water. Thanks to her frog-like anatomy, Froppy can move freely in water without losing any of her strength or agility. This means that in a situation where everyone else's abilities become limited, Froppy's abilities excel, granting her a huge advantage in this terrain. Now that's all the natural things you would expect from frog-like abilities, but here is where we get to the weird unique abilities that you wouldn't expect. Froppy's stomach is capable of inflating, which allows her to secrete an irritating toxin contained in the walls of her stomach. She can also use her stomach to store items she swallows, regurgitating them if necessary. This is advantageous for not only carrying items, but also hiding them from plain sight, like when Froppy hid a pair of handcuffs from ectoplasm during her and Tokoyami's final exam. Froppy can produce a mucus on her arms that has a distinctive scent, which can be used as a paralyzing agent if an opponent comes in contact with enough of it. And finally, we have Froppy's ultimate move, Camouflage, in which she changes the coloring of her body to match with the surrounding environment, practically making her invisible. What good are you now, Invisigirl? Froppy literally has your quirk and more! Why are you still here? Okay, now tantrum aside, while the quirk Frog does grant its user some pretty useful and versatile abilities, as demonstrated by Froppy being one of the most useful heroes in Class 1A, it does come with its fair share of weaknesses. For starters, while being extremely useful, Froppy's extended tongue is actually a double-edged sword. You see, while it's useful for ranged attacks, her tongue is still a vulnerable part of her body, especially when extended, meaning while she can attack with it, enemies can attack her tongue back and potentially cause some serious damage. Think of her tongue like a whip that you can't let go of. If an enemy grabs it and overpowers you, you would be in a very dangerous situation. There's also a weakness in Froppy's ultimate move. Although I made the joke about Froppy essentially having Invisigirl's quirk, Camouflage is actually a worse version of invisibility. You see, Camouflage only matches Froppy to the current terrain, meaning if she moves around or the terrain changes, her camouflage would fade away, making it increasingly more useless. Alright, You win this round, Invisigirl. Then finally, we have the quirk's biggest and most devastating weakness, extreme temperatures. You see, the quirk frog not only gives its user frog-like anatomy, but it also turns its user into a cold-blooded creature, making its user highly sensitive to the cold, with prolonged exposure not only preventing the usage of the quirk, but also putting them into a hibernation-like state, rendering them completely useless. Inversely, the frog quirk is also highly susceptible to high heat and fire, as its aquatic nature leaves its user vulnerable to drying out. So if you were ever wondering who'd win in a fight between Froppy and Todoroki, I got some bad news for the Froppy fans. But weaknesses aside, there's still a whole lot of potential behind this quirk. Since the frog quirk has been seen to have inherited abilities from all species of frog, this means that Froppy has the potential to gain numerous unique abilities, such as gliding, as seen with the gliding tree frog, which uses its webbed feet to majestically glide between branches up in the trees. There's also the wood frog's hibernation ability, in which, during hibernation, its heart stops, all muscle and breathing movements cease, and up to 70% of its body freezes, even the brain and the lens of the eye, meaning that although she would be unable to do anything, Froppy could potentially survive for months inside of Todoroki's ice wall without harm. There's also the poison dart frog's ability, which, you guessed it, makes them poisonous. However, this isn't just regular poison. Some variations have the potential to paralyze any creature which ingests it, and others even have the potency to kill up to 100 people. While this wouldn't be too useful in combat situations, against the likes of Stain or Toga, whose quirks depend on ingesting their opponent's blood, this would be the perfect counter. And finally, we have my all-time favorite potential frog ability, the Trichobatrachus robustus ability. Definitely butchered that name. The ability to break your own bones. Now you may think, how the hell is that a good thing? Oh dear viewer. This frog doesn't just break its own bones, it breaks its bones and thrusts them through its toe pads, brandishing them like a set of extendable claws. That's right, dear viewer, I'm talking Wolverine style! There's the potential to see Froppy whipping out some Wolverine claws and going to town on villains. Although it's a long shot, just the idea gives me hope. God, it would be so cool! And that's everything you need to know about the Quirk Frog. It's easy to see why Froppy is such a beloved character. Not only is she adorable and supportive, but she has a crazy versatile and useful quirk to back her up. So let me know what you think in the comments. Would you like to have the frog quirk? And would you like to see Froppy pull out some Wolverine claws? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Plus Ultra. Hey, I know I just ended the video, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching my content. The Lunchtime Crew just hit 300 subscribers. And if you saw my 100 subscriber special, then you know just how much this channel and all of your support means to me. I love making this content, and to see all of you guys interact with it and enjoy it brings my happiness to a whole new level that I can't even describe. Thank you all so much. And if you ever want to get in contact with me for a discussion or dumb My Hero Academia talks, don't be afraid to follow me on Twitter at The Lunchtime. I'm always there for conversation and a good time. Thank you again, and remember to go beyond plus ultra.